Hey guys, Retro Tigo here, back with another video and back with another impressions video. This time we're taking a look at Superman, the Man of Steel, issue number 5 from November 1991. It's The Curse of the Atomic Skull. This one I've been anxiously awaiting doing a video on. I had flipped through it several months ago when I first picked it up and knew that this one would be featured at some point. Has an interesting gimmick, which we've seen in other titles in the 90s. So it's not exactly necessarily revolutionary, but it's definitely has a spin to it, and that is, if this is any indication, that the bulk of the action takes place in the landscape mode. Now, growing up, I came across this once before, and I'm sure many of you who collected Marvel, collected the Mutants books, also ran into, and that was namely the two-part series that took place between Spider-Man issue number 16 and X-Force number 4. These are the crossover sabotage, X-over crossover, part 1 and part 2, the special Sideways issues. Yes, indeed, the gimmick even made its way, over to Marvel, and that's the entire bulk of the issue takes place in the whole landscape mode. So yeah, when I found this one in the dollar bins and saw this end up, it was very intriguing to me, and yeah, I couldn't wait to, like I said, get to it so I could read it and make a video about it. So let's get into it. So the general idea for this issue is that we have a poor, infected, latent metahuman named Joe Martin who becomes the Atomic Skull. And basically this issue plays out side by side. So you have on the left, you have an old serial of the Atomic Skull playing out on the film strip, and on the right you have the current day Crystal Skull fighting Superman. So essentially what is going on in this issue is that this Joe Martin guy in a previous issue, he's in Star Labs, and Star Labs has some issues. They have kind of a meltdown, and he's kind of exposed to some stuff that eventually turns him into the Atomic Skull. And he is a great lover of this old serial, black and white serial, the Atomic Skull. So when his powers manifest, they sort of manifest themselves as the Atomic Skull. And so the bulk of this issue is kind of interesting. Well, it's not kind of, it really is interesting, in that the Atomic Skull is essentially acting out in parts, kind of picking and choosing from this serial to act out in real life. So again, along the left side, we see the serial taking place while the current day Superman is battling this Joe Martin / Atomic Skull guy. And so really the serial kind of mirrors the present day. We see sort of the heroine getting on the Atomic Skull. They're lovers, it's typical, 40s, 50s serial. The damsel in distress falls for the hero, but he's not really the hero, he's the anti-hero, that kind of stuff. And over in the current day, we see Lois Lane sort of kind of get kidnapped in his belief that it's his girlfriend or his lover, So Lois is trying to get away from him while they're speeding on this bike. Meanwhile, on the serial side, it's kind of like a damsel in distress, they're after you kind of thing. And so yeah, I was flipped through some more of these pages, and we see that essentially everything that's happening on the left hand side is kind of mirrored in present day on the right hand side. So it's a really interesting gimmick. I mean, it is what it is, it's a gimmick. But unlike the Spider-Man and the X-Force crossover, where it's just kind of a sideways issue, to be a sideways issue. It's been a number of years, probably since I bought them off the comic book stands, since I've actually read those, so I don't know if there's some deeper significance to the side, the landscape side, or if it was literally just kind of a gimmick. But this one this issue of Man of Steel really does sort of tie into things in that the film strip is coming down the left-hand side, meanwhile the present day is playing out on the right-hand side, and they directly correlate with one another. Here we see, you know, the Atomic Skull sort of missing his jump. He's falling in kind of to the vat, and here we see sort of a similar action with Lois and Superman saving him, or her, I guess. So yeah, so essentially, like, they figure out the way to defeat him is exactly or very similar to what they did in the serial, and that, you know, they basically have to take away his radiation. So Superman wraps a radiation rod, I guess, around him, whereas in the serial they kind of put on a similar like helmet device. So, you know, it mirrors the whole helmet type device, plot device here, where he wraps the thing, and essentially the radiation drains out of the Crystal Skull, aka Joe Martin. And yeah, at the end, he's kind of back to where he was, but yet he's still sort of trapped in this whole like serial mentality of the Atomic Skull and what have you. And at the very end, we, you know, it's kind of like here's the damsel coming to meet the now heroic lead, and her name's Zelda, which I wonder if it has anything to do with the video game, given the time that this came out. So yeah, and here comes Lois and Jimmy riding up on the old motorcycle there. So yeah, that's the gist of it, and it was really fun read, and like I said, the whole juxtaposition, shall we say, from you know, left and right, and things that are happening here, and yeah, it was just a really great read to see how all of this transpired between the old serial and the current day Superman situation. So yeah, so that's Superman, the Man of Steel, issue number 5 from 1991. Really still continuing to enjoy reading the post-crisis Superman run. It's issues like these, and you know, I've gone over the Mr. Mxyzptlk issues where those have taken weird turns and things like that, where it's awesome to read these now and sort of contrast them with a lot of the comics today. And I almost feel like there were a lot more risks taken with these issues back in the 80s and 90s than are being taken today. So again, it's just been a blast catching up on this run, and again, sort of like pulling out these old Marvel issues to flip through these to see how they treated things as well. And, you know, like I said, for the most part, it was mainly just a side story until you get to these like awesome sort of full page panels, and then somewhere in here, yeah. Now, I won't deny that these look pretty awesome. These 2-page full panel things. So yeah, like I said, great book. I'm continuing to enjoy the run. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to take a few minutes to run through that, show you guys the uniqueness of this particular issue. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Take care, stay safe, and yeah, later.